Well, it's fixed or fuxed. And this, I think I know what this is. I had to take it more out of its packaging. I can't remember why, but I did. And I'm going to finish unwrapping it, but I'm pretty sure I already know that this is, guess what? And I'm sure you'll be shocked. It's another TV thing. It's an Android TV thing. It's an Android TV box. It's an Android TV box EAN 9S, lots of zeros, 20. That's not helpful. 637 grams, in case you were wondering how much one of these weighs in its box. It's written on the label there. No, I have driggable scales for hands. I can tell the weight of many things to the exact gram. No, it's on the box, and it is it's an OTT TV box. 4x CPU Cortex A9, 8x GPU Mali 450. It's just a cheap shit Android TV box. Well, that sounds impressive, doesn't it? But yeah, really, it's just a cheap shit Android TV box. Chibi, it's a cheap TV box. It's a chibi box that I am trying to open. There we go. Oh, it's an M8. So I mean, it's basically the same as another one I've got that I just cannot get working. OT TV box Android player model M8. There's nothing particularly exciting there. The Android boxes seem to be selling for, I don't know, it's random. Anything from £15 to like £50. And I'm looking at the £50 ones going, well, why is that £50 and what's better than, why is it better than the £15 one? And there seem to be no answers forthcoming for this. However, this did not cost that much. This cost considerably under £10 because it is faulty. I am not just describing a working but second-hand thing. That would be already fixed. Now I need to fuxed. No, this is fixed or fuxed, so I buy broken things and they often stay broken and I lose all of my money. And then I cry myself to sleep and wonder what I'm doing with my life. And you get to witness that joy. Right, yep, it's one of these now. This was sold as everything works fine, but it's got a wobbly USB port. I've noticed it's got a full-size SD card. I like the fact it's got a full-size SD card, even if I don't have any full-size SD memory cards. But apparently you have to wiggle the HDMI for things to work. I'm going to say, on initial wiggling of the HDMI, it doesn't feel loose. I'm going to put the cable in. And oh, now either the plug is loose or the port is loose. Once I do that, there is definitely wobble at both ends. And that could be a loose port. Let's see if I can figure out how to take it apart without having to turn the camera off. Yeah, looks like there are screws under the feet. So there you go, this might be an educational video on how to take one of these apart. Or it will probably be an informative video on how not to take one of these apart. I'm very good at not taking things apart the correct way, and then I'm even better at them never going back together again. However, there are 4 screws, of which there are now 3 still in, and one of the feet that I'm trying to glue out the way has already fallen off. Trying to make a bid for freedom. I've been trapped on that box my entire life. I want to see the world. I've heard of things like the Taj Mahal. I want to go there. Look, you're a rubber foot. You'll never get a passport. I don't need a passport. I can stick myself to the underside of the plane. It's very cold if you do that. Besides which, you might get arrested. So, just be happy with your life glued to this box. Normally, I would say live your dreams, but you're just a rubber foot on a TV box. Don't be so stupid. That's the screws out. Now, does this just come off, or is it screws and clickies? It just comes off, and something fell off. Something fell loose as I was doing that. That's interesting. Oh, it's the power, isn't it? Yeah, it's the status LED off the front, which which goes back on that way around. Maybe that would benefit from a bit of glue at some point. So, there is the inside of an M8 blah 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 blah, I don't know, box. Let's see if the HDMI port does indeed physically move around. Because the wiggle made me wonder, does it just need the solder joints doing? And I can't tell. No, that's no help, is it, to anybody? Right, how does an HDMI port work? You have pinny things there, you have pinny things there. Could it be as simple as just the cable? Have I taken this apart for no good reason other than to go on some fantasy trip like a rubber foot? I don't know. I'm going to attempt another cable. I may even find a TV to plug this into. When I have achieved certain things of cable finding or possibly even television locating, I'll be back. Have I mentioned how much I hate that Philips TV recently? I wanted to get things set up. I checked it on my main TV. This is my main TV. Checked it on my main TV and I got kind of things. And I thought, okay, just so I know I've got a picture, I can now set up the Philips TV, which is much better for doing videos. I have more light in that space. Everything's going to be glorious. And the fucking thing just would not work with it. Not a hope in hell. Now, what you are currently seeing is this booting up in what appears to be perfection. I say perfection. I will, when it gets round to it, I will... There, right. I don't have to fill in the time anymore. This all looks good, right? This is how it's supposed to look. And, oh, by the way, I tried running it off a USB power thingy, and it was a little bit... It kind of worked, but I'm not sure it was happy about it. However, I did check with my power draw meter, and it barely ever spiked over 500 milliamps. So I guess if you get a cable for the DC jack and then hit the hard drive output USB port on a TV, you might be able to get away without using the power adapter, which comes with a really tiny cable. But moving on to the actual problem, I think, and I have the box here, you see, there's not enough light in here. I have the box here, I'm holding down the back of the USB port so that the only thing being moved is the USB. The HDMI, so the only thing moving is the cable, and there. Do you see those lines? And it'll stay like that. Well, it'll stay like that until the cable just kind of sits. I'm fairly sure that is a USB port issue. I mean, it's actually not that much of a problem. I can totally use it like this. But it seems to be a port issue, so what I'm going to do is I'm just curious, since I had the microscope in there and saw anything of concern. I've seen very little things of anything on camera in this room. That bloody Philips TV. I saw nothing of concern, so I'm going to take my ISO, I'm going to dip my stick, and I'm going to do something really stupid, which is, well, ISO is non-conductive. So I'm basically filling the end of an HDMI cable with ISO, and I'm filling the HDMI port here with ISO, because ISO is effectively a contact cleaner. I think when you buy contact cleaner, a lot of the time it's just ISO. And, oh, I seem to have made it horrifically worse. But I'm just going to plug it in and out a few times. In fact, I might power it down. It might have powered itself down. I may have killed it. Have I killed it? Are you dead? No, but you're very unhappy about that, aren't you? I'm going to pull the power, and I'm just going to basically wiggle and jiggle, and I'm going to thrust it in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And I'm going to do this quite a bit. I'm not going to do it on camera because, for one thing, you can't see what I'm doing, and for another, there's only so many times I can go in and out before it gets kind of repetitive and tedious. I thrust it repeatedly in and drew it repeatedly out. And, well, at least I've got no worse than I had before. And hoping that I get hoping I get this picture. I have this picture. Now what happens if I wiggle my plug? I'm wiggling the plug, and I would say we aren't getting a repetition of the fault. Here again, just in case you are not believing me, not that you can see because of the light in here, again, not my video space, stupid Philips TV. Don't buy one of those, they are crap. I bought one of those, it is crap. But, well, let's quickly, very quickly, go through some screens, just double check. I also have a feeling they're a little bit power fussy, because when I was running it just off USB, just to double check that it actually worked on this TV. It would sometimes just fail to respond or be really slow to respond. Maybe that was software, initial boot. It's kind of doing it now. So maybe it is just when it's booting up, but maybe it just goes, no, I need a little bit more power than you're giving me. But I think, let me just give it another wiggle. Oh, did I broke it? So I have to say, I think we're all good. Oh, maybe we're not so good. Are we good? Hey, in fairness, you're not going to wobble the cable around normally, are you? Or abnormally. No, just generally in use, you're not going to wiggle the cable. I might have broke it again. Oh, no, there it is. And there it goes. Now that is interesting. I was about to call this a success. It's not a success, is it? It's a success there. Okay. So, I am declaring this neither fixed nor Phuxxed because I think I may have to actually invest in a USB port. It's going to be fun finding one that actually matches this. I don't know. What if I put my fingers there? Anything? Nothing? I suspect it doesn't like being connected and disconnected in whatever way that it's broken too often either. Oh, that was just the slightest touch and it went. I am now twisting it. I have finished thrusting, I am now twisting, and there was momentarily something. Didn't get a chance to see what? Okay. Yeah. I'm calling this a bad HDMI port. Because this is a different HDMI cable, and I think I had the same problem with a different cable. I know this cable works. Come on. Helps if my TV stops trying to be clever. Well, it is a smarter TV than a self-lobotomizing Samsung, but I'd still like it to just not attempt to be so smart. Yes, I know there's no bloody thing. I'm pulling the power, I'm reconnecting the power. I just want to see a picture before I go away to order an HDMI port. I just want to see something to tell me I haven't completely fucked it. I've completely fucked it, haven't I? Stop telling me that! I know there is no signal. Where's the thing to say stop telling me? So annoying. Come on. Speak to me. There, right. We have life, but it's intermittent life, so I think I'm going to have to order an HDMI port. And that means I'm going to have to find out which one fits. You know, I'm going to tempt fate again now. I'm going to wiggle it. Wiggle. Yay, there it goes. Yeah. There's definitely something absolutely unhealthy with an HDMI port. So, I'm going to have to order a port, and then I'm going to have to do scary soldering. And then hopefully, with a fully working port, that stupid Philips TV won't be so fussy, and I'll be able to do the finale wrap-up in proper light. So, after much wiggling, and then wiggling a bit more, and then pouring some ISO in, and nothing good happening with alcohol. That rarely happens. I have ordered and received the replacement HDMI port. Is it the right HDMI port? Well, all I could do was go by the photo on eBay and kind of think, well, the pins look like they're in the same places, the legs look like they're the same size. I really hope, because I won't find out until I go and try to solder it in. And that could go wrong for so many reasons. But it won't go right or wrong unless I try. Very quickly, before this goes to be soldered, I do wonder if that's corrosion. It's a little bit, yeah, is that dust? Is that damp? But then it's nowhere near the HDMI port, and I seem to get a picture out of it if I wiggle it this end. So I don't see any corrosion, but I'll clean that off anyway, but I'm a little bit worried as to what it is. The eagle-eyed among you may notice there is no board within this box. Yeah, I went to do the HDMI part. I removed the old HDMI port. It took most of the tracks with it on its way out. The circuit board is dead. I'm not even going to try looking for a schematic to go, where do each of these 19 pins go? It's just an utter waste of time. And I'm going to say that about these boxes in general. I have tried 3. 3 is the number of the counting, and the number of the counting is 3. I have tried 3 of these cheap and far from cheerful Android TV devices. A stick which had a bad firmware flash, and for which no firmware that works exists. Oh, and a box that had the same problem. And then there was this box that had a dodgy HDMI port. Even though all the soldering looked fine, it had to have been a dodgy HDMI port, and I suspect the tracks that came up when I was desoldering, now I am not a desoldering expert, I may have done something wrong. Well, there's no may about it. I will have done something wrong in trying to desolder it. But I've soldered a few things now. I've done the TV NAND chips, for example. You know, I've done this enough to think I don't know for sure that I'm the one that broke this. I was having to twist and push the port down in a very particular way to get the picture to be completely clear. And it just makes me wonder, because the tracks lifted kind of at one side but not so much the other. I wonder if they were already lifting. I wonder if they'd already kind of broken free of their shackles to the circuit board. And that's why pushing down was fixing it, because the port absolutely looked perfect. I'm now really thinking that had I successfully replaced the port, I'd probably still have the same problem, because I think this was a corrosion within the tracks on the PCB. Where I'm going with this is, if you're lucky enough to have one of these with working firmware that doesn't brick and you never update it, so it doesn't brick itself in an irretrievable way, because there are 20 million different versions of the same thing, and so the 20 million and one is the one you have and you can't get the firmware for. If you're lucky enough to be in a situation where that doesn't happen to you, they seem to be very cheaply, badly made shit. I have a Fire TV stick. I was a little bit at the video somewhere, look at the playlist, and it was a bad USB port. And so I just had to resolder the USB port. And to me, I was saying, this is really bad manufacture. Look, you haven't soldered the legs in. No wonder the port comes loose. And yet, I'm starting to be of the opinion that those are far better for your money. And they cost what? Second hand, £25, £30, new, £40 for something that has a lot of support and works. And if you break it in the future by screwing it up with the firmware, you can probably get it back. And there are the Roku sticks. I've seen Roku sticks selling for like £25 new. Price seems to fluctuate. I don't know whether it's depending on how long the container's taken to get here from China, or the exchange rate, because we keep trying to collapse our own currency with political stupidity. But a Roku stick, £25. You plug it in, it works. These seem to be, oh, well, I want to do lots of weirdy, streamy kind of things and stuff with the sites that maybe I shouldn't, it's a grey area, legal grey area to be watching this, blah, 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 blah. Fine. But for God's sake, don't get a 20 quid box. You can probably pick up for 30 or 40 pounds a second-hand, really good quality tablet with really good support on it that you can just plug into your TV, Android tablet, running all the crap that you want to be running on one of these pieces of shit. And I'm sure that there's some way of remote controlling it. I don't do these things, but I presume. Or you can just spend a few more pounds and get a good TV box. But for the love of God, do not. Just don't. These are awful. And so with that rant over, and this isn't just me covering going, oh, I just want to make an excuse for I fucked it up and no, it's all my fault. I think it was already failing. And if it wasn't, that still doesn't justify the other 2 that I have tried being so unbelievably awful and impossible to sort out. I've looked on geek forums, you know, forums full of people that do this shit all the time. They eat, breathe and sleep the whole, like, dicking with £20 Android boxes. And some of them have been driven to outright insanity, just trying to get a bit of software back on a TV stick. So, yeah. In terms of this one, now the rant is over, is it fixed? Is it Phuxxed? Well, it sure as Phuxxed isn't fixed.